Okay, it's Thursday, and that means for me, it's time to work on fixing something. And I thought what could be a good place to start today was something that I had to fix myself very early on in my online presenting days. When I very first started doing online group coaching, one of the bits of feedback that I got was that I needed to turn my energy up, not just a bit, but a lot, that I sounded really boring when I was presenting online and it just wasn't engaging. And this was advice that was given with love, but it was a bit hard to take at the time as well. And I really thought that I was doing okay when I was presenting. I thought my energy was up there and doing really good. And then it got laid on the line for me. It's like, well, if you don't do this, then we are going to find someone else who can, people that I was working with. And so it made sense, and that was absolutely the right decision to make. And it was a bit of tough love that was much needed. And an incentive, it was a great incentivization to do something about it. So I got some tips on how to turn my energy up whilst I was presenting online that made a huge difference. And this isn't about going from being sort of dull, monotone, and really boring to being super high energy and off the charts, but really about getting your energy to a level where it's at least going to be engaging, that people will want to carry on listening, hopefully, and being part of what you're doing. So you don't really want people getting bored, especially when you're doing stuff online like live coaching or live webinars that you want to have good levels of engagement with. One of the best things that you can do is make sure that you are standing up whilst you're delivering your presentations. So even though I'm sat down right now, I've been doing this a long time, so I'm pretty good at turning my energy up naturally. But even so, I know that standing up is a different energy, and sometimes I will, certainly if it's for a much bigger, larger online presentation, and often for group trainings and group workshops online. You know, if you're delivering training or workshops or presentations in person, then generally you will be stood up for them, unless it's a very informal kind of training, or unless you're about to tell everybody a bedtime story, then the chances are you are going to be stood up. And there's just that assumption that being stood up is the position that you are meant to be in for presenting. So it does make good sense, and it does have some sort of maybe subconscious effect for us as well. When we're standing up, we feel a bit more high energy than we do when we're sitting down. And I guess there are many reasons why that might make sense to you. I do recommend trying it. If you use your webcam from your computer for your online presenting, you might need to work on raising the whole computer up so that you can get your camera to an angle where you can do that. If you use green screen technology like I do, then you will also probably need to move your green screen to adapt with that too. But I promise you, it will be one of the things that makes the biggest difference if you're having to do any kind of online presenting for business, especially if you're doing stuff where you need to engage a group of people for any significant amount of time. That's going to change your energy. In addition to that, I would say have fun with it. Have fun with what you're doing and pump yourself up before you do it. Again, you don't need to aim for off the charts high energy, but just to a good level of energy where you seem energized, where you seem like you're ready and eager to go. One warning, if you are a highly visual person like me and you are often talking very fast and you can go at a real rate of knots when you're speaking, then you will need to at least pause and have a deep breath before you start and remind yourself to slow it down. Now that is also a great thing to work on fixing. I'll come back with some more points on how to slow down your speaking if you are super fast. That might help you as well, because I've had to do it, and even now sometimes I have to be reminded, especially as I do a lot of international work where many of the people who I present and coach are not necessarily speaking English as their first language. So it's even more important in those situations to have greater clarity and to speak at a speed where comprehension can be more universal for everyone, even if they don't have an advanced or fluent use of English, that they should be able to get most of what you're saying. You know, I have that experience in Spanish as well. If someone is speaking clearly in Spanish at a good pace, I can understand most of what's being said and I get what's going on. that if they're going high speed and super velocity, I'm going to miss most of it. And that's just really a thing of generally is going to happen with non-native speakers. It really is hard to tune your ear into that level of speed. But even for native English speakers, some people really struggle when people are going at super high speed. If they are generally slow speakers, they're probably kind of slow listeners as well. So do yourself a favor with that one. So I'll come back with some more tips on how to slow things down, but make sure you do that when you've got your energy high up as well. Don't allow that to be the thing that's like the starter's pistol. That means you're racing to the finish line. Okay, hopefully there's some good tips for you, things you can work on. So next time I'll talk a bit more about how to slow yourself down, and more great tips coming. Tune in every Thursday for those kinds of tips, how to fix things in your presentation and public speaking work. And tomorrow is Philosophy Friday, so I'll be back with a bit of profundity. See you then.